As we get further and further into the offseason, Quinn Hughes has still not signed an extension with the Minnesota Wild. Whether the issue is term or money, the public does not know yet. But either way, it seems like a good time to put our speculation hats on and look at some potential places that Quinn Hughes can be traded to, and most importantly, what the package would look like. Last season, Quinn had 7 goals and 69 assists for 76 points in 74 games, along with 15 points in 11 playoff games. A generational player and arguably the best defenseman in the league, he is at the very worst 1B with Cale Makar. With the Wild, they have a big glaring hole at the center position on their team, so a center would most certainly be part of this deal, along with a left-handed defenseman replacement to play alongside Brock Faber. Of course, I'm sure a couple of picks will be thrown in there too. I will also do my best to be conscious of the salary cap, but most teams find a way if they really want a player anyways. We can assume that Quinn wants more than $15 million, probably $16 million at the very least. He will also actually have to want to sign with the team he is traded to. No one is going to trade for 1 year of Quinn Hughes, especially considering what they will have to trade him for. So with that said, let's look at 5 potential trades for Quinn Hughes. Number 1 is the Wild trading Quinn Hughes to the Detroit Red Wings for Dylan Larkin, Simone Edvinsson, and a 2027 first round pick. Of course, we got to start with the hometown team, the Detroit Red Wings. And the Red Wings just happen to have a player who wants out, and I don't think they would mind being on a team like the Wild. Adding Larkin to the Wild automatically makes them much stronger offensively. They have weapons like Kaprizov and Boldy on the wing, but their lack of a center showed last season, especially in the playoffs against the Avalanche. Adding Larkin to that center depth immediately makes them more formidable in the playoffs, on the forward side of things at least. And Edvinsson would be a really solid replacement for Hughes. The most difficult part of trading a guy like Quinn Hughes is that there's almost no chance that you trade for a player who is equal to him in skill. There are at most like 7 guys in the league better than him. But Edvinsson is a young 23-year-old left-handed defenseman that can fill that same role that Quinn had on the team. Of course, the production won't even be close, but you at least get a young defenseman with some upside, and I think this is still a playoff contending team with this trade, and a very fair trade for both sides. On the other side of things, we have the Red Wings gaining the hometown kid Quinn Hughes. This of course assumes that the Red Wings are going to be chasing the playoffs again next season, but if Quinn is all in on Detroit, maybe there are a couple of other brothers that want to make their way back to Detroit as well. Speaking of brothers, trade number 2 is the Minnesota Wild trading Quinn Hughes to the New Jersey Devils for Nico Hischier, Jonas Siegenthaler, the Devils' 2027 first-round pick, and the Vegas Golden Knights' 2027 first-round pick. In this trade, you are getting a better center, but an older defenseman with less upside, so we are throwing 2 first-round picks on top of it. Hischier, like Larkin, would immediately strengthen their center core. Again, with the weapons that the Wild have on the wing, a great 1C like Larkin or Hischier will really make a difference. As far as defensemen go, the best left defenseman prospect that the Devils have is Luke Hughes, and there's no way he'll be part of this trade. So I am going with Jonas Siegenthaler. And although he doesn't have the potential of a guy like Edvinsson, I feel like he would be a really good partner for Brock Faber. Faber is still very good offensively and would be the best defenseman on a team that didn't have Quinn Hughes on it. Siegenthaler being a really good defensive defenseman would be a really good fit next to Faber in my opinion. It would allow Faber to spread his offensive wings a little more and take more chances offensively if he paired with someone like Siegenthaler. At the end of the day though, I would throw 2 2027 firsts on top of it. If you're Bill Guerin, you know that the Devils really want Quinn, and you got to squeeze every asset you can out of New Jersey. I think Nemec would have been a perfect asset instead of these picks, but the Devils traded him already. If you're enjoying this video so far, please Scott Stevens smash the subscribe button so this channel can get off the floor and on the board. Thank you all so much for your support so far. Trade number 3 is the Minnesota Wild trading Quinn Hughes to the Boston Bruins for Mason Lohrei, Elias Lindholm, the Boston Bruins 2027, 2028, and 2029 first-round pick, along with the Toronto Maple Leafs 2027 first-round pick. Why not reunite Quinn with his Olympic gold medal winning partner, Charlie McAvoy? I like the idea of McAvoy and Quinn reuniting, but the Bruins don't necessarily have the player assets like the previous 2 trades did. So, when you don't have the players, you send picks. And I think it would take at least 4 for this deal to go through. Also, if you're Minnesota, you want a much better center or a younger center, and Boston has Hagens, but there's absolutely no way they can move on from him already. So instead, I guess the Wild are getting Elias Lindholm. Kind of a similar case to Eriksson Ek, where you'd prefer him as a 2C. I mean, Boston plays Zaka on the first line more than Lindholm, but if they're acquiring Quinn, they'll still want to be a playoff team. Boston also seems to have been looking to move on from Lohrei for a bit now. He's only a year younger than Hughes and definitely a downgrade, but he'll at least fill the spot on the team. I think this definitely forces the Wild to take a step back, but would be killer for Boston. Their team is still very good, but not deep run playoff good, and this would completely change that. For trade number 4, we have the Minnesota Wild trading Quinn Hughes to the Vancouver Canucks for Marco Rossi, Zeev Buyum, Liam Ogren, and a 2027 first round pick. The Vancouver Canucks are currently rebuilding, but why not accelerate things by acquiring one of the best players in the entire league? They definitely have the cap space to extend his contract. Vancouver can create a perfect package for him too. A young center like Rossi can help beef up their center depth, and Buyum replaces Quinn perfectly on that left side. And Ogren and the first are just the cherry on top. I could genuinely imagine this happening. It fills the Wild center needs and gives them some high potential players. I can even imagine him in the jersey. I'm not very good at Photoshop, but I made a couple of photos just to see how he would look that I'll be showing right now. I don't know. This one just makes sense to me. I mean, even the skate jersey he looks good in. One more trade to go. For the 5th trade, I always like to go a little crazy. So in this trade, we have the Minnesota Wild trading Quinn Hughes and Philip Gustafsson to the Florida Panthers for Gustav Forsling, Jacob Markstrom, Eetu Luostarinen, a 2030, 2031, and a 2032 first round pick. I mean, why not? Send Quinn to play with his boys, the Canucks in Florida. And the Wild have 2 starters at this point, and the Panthers need a solid goalie, so why not take Philip Gustafsson too? But it's going to take a lot more to make this one go through, so the Panthers are sending back Markstrom to be the Wild's new backup, Forsling to be Faber's partner, and similar to Siegenthaler from earlier, he'll be the perfect defensive partner for Faber so that Faber can be more offensive, and Luostarinen adds to the Wild center depth. But I really don't think that would be enough, so I believe that the Panthers would have to add 3 first round picks at least. They're already getting rid of them all the time, so why not get rid of some more? I feel like this works pretty well too because you send him to the East, and I'm sure Zito can probably get him on a lower deal because of the taxes. I also think that the Wild is still a playoff team after making this trade. Forsling is a different type of player than Quinn for sure, but still very, very good and better defensively, to be honest. And Luostarinen and Eriksson are not too bad for your top 2 centers. I consider Verhaeghe in this, but I just don't think that the Panthers will be willing to move on from any of their big guys, and would rather just throw in as many picks as possible. This is definitely a hockey trade and will be one of the biggest blockbusters in a very long time. And that was 5 potential trades for Quinn Hughes. Thank you all so much for watching. Please comment your thoughts below, like if you enjoyed, and subscribe for more.